Everyone, happy Thursday. Hope you had a great week. And yes, as you can read from the title description, we have arrived to something quite interesting. We've made it to Belsavis, to chapter 3 of the Bounty Hunter storyline, playing as a vanguard, as a trooper, Imperial side. After finishing um, Knights of the Fallen Empire Master Mode, we are doing this as part of a leisure gameplay uh, series. Gameplay that I would do on my own, like offline in that sense, and we made it to the end. And because of things that I need to do in game. For those of you who don't know, I did a series over at YouTube. We finished Knights of the Fallen Empire, as I said, Master Mode, and now I am doing this because I never did. I'm a returning player from 2015, and I never did the um, the Bounty Hunter storyline, basically. Okay, and for today, as I promised, today we'll meet some quite interesting friends. Some quite interesting friends as I craft here. I basically did this as a leisure gameplay that I would, as I said, do on my own offline because I needed this fortification buff for the rest of my legacy. In this game, you have a legacy that is shared across your characters, and when that is the as you play the different story classes, you unlock these 4 buffs. I had 3, now I have all of them. So pretty much, I um, I could finally get the complete set of buffs. As for the rest, I also will show you this. Here you can see that Here you can see that if you unlock the conversations, it also grants a 10 points of bonus presence to your characters, which increases their efficiency in combat of your companions, pretty much, when you're playing. Okay, people, so another thing, as you can see, I made it to level 51. I've been farming a bit. So with that, we should be able to finish all of chapter 3 today, if we have the time. If we finish it, then I have other activities to do, but I don't think it will be that much because here we have to meet some quite interesting friends related to the topic we are going to discuss today. But first, let's get the mission from Colonel Grang here. We made it to the forward advance command.
Excuse me, Colonel Graham's saying some words for the fallen.
Sergeant Harral was a good soldier. He fought like a true Imperial, and he died a hero.
Yes, sir. We have company.
This is an Imperial operation, Mert, but as you can see, I have some vacancies to fill. Interested in hunting some rampaging aliens?
Well, for those of you who haven't watched the previous part, Belsavis is a shared world that all Imperial and Republic classes have to do, but Imperial classes, the 4 Imperial classes of the game, have get to this story planet, and um, and you have to basically free the Dread Masters that you will meet today. Hopefully, it will be the first thing we do. Which then continues the story over at Oricon, the world I showcased to you previously, and it's basically the armor of the mascot of my channel. Now, you must be asking, why is it, and I wanted to do this as a closure to the series until we get to Knights of the Eternal Throne, maybe, I don't know, in some months or something like that. We will do Knights of the Eternal Throne Master Mode there, and basically I wanted to show you all why the Dread Masters are so important story-wise to the universe that Knights of the Old Republic created, because, well, I'll tell you as we get into the quest. But it's basically, just so you have a context, this is Belsavis, it's a prison world. We are trying to start a riot to basically free the Dread Masters, and then in terms of the Merc, the Bounty Hunter storyline, we are trying to clear our name and pretty much things that you will see as we play today's chapter. I hope we can finish today, so let's be fast.
Commander Callum sent me concerning the Dreadmasters.
The Dreadmasters aren't here. But if we don't exterminate these aliens soon, we'll never free them.
The prisoners
mission
of the
was to
planet.
clear the path for the Dreadmasters' rescue. That meant
We have to
storing
save them.
prisoners
They are
to
in
keep the
prison.
Republic busy. My team broke vaults open. We unleashed something awful. Vicious aliens, armed and out for blood. There's no record of their existence.
The Esh-Ka have to be. They have to be.
I just broke up an entire wing of rioting aliens. I can handle a few more.
These brutes are off the charts. Not your typical backworld freaks. Luckily, we discovered their prison records.
Found references to Esh-Ka, an ancient conqueror species locked up for thousands of
Indeed.
years. Details are still unclear.
Hear that, Hunter? Thousands of years. How'd you like first shot at a freshly thawed species?
I expect payment for each fallen Esh-Ka, and I'm keeping count.
Fulfill the contract and we'll take care of everything. You'll find the Esh-Ka in their prison vault. Search the place. We can't risk missing any.
Alright, let's do it. Let's do it, people. In the meantime, let me deploy my crew skill. Oh well, I forgot to bring some money from my general legacy bank account.
Do you require medical attention?
No worries. No worries at all. Let me sell some of this stuff. It's all materials that I have to use. This one. Let me sell this stuff. Let me sell all these. This one is level 55. Well, this one maybe I'll keep it. I think it's enough to deploy them on crew skills. We should be good to go as we get some other quests. There you go.
I can handle that.
Magnificent. That'll take them a while. Okay, people. So as I was mentioning, I wanted to have a recording of me meeting the Dread Masters again. So there's the objective. He's quite close. This is the forward camp. These are other players, the ones in blue. This is the forward camp, and basically, the idea is that it's a prison world. We made it here. This is a world map of only this planet. As you can see, we are here. We made our way. You can see through here. We cleared all of the areas. We are right now in at the maximum security section. But then maybe we get to go even further beyond. Okay, but the idea is that we have to free the Dreadmasters. Why are they so important as for me to this Rakata ancient tomb that they are using as a prison? This planet is a prison planet. So basically, oh, you can travel with this one. Ah, alright. Then where's the objective? I only see two story objects. Erasing the Esh-Ka. Erasing me to the Esh-Ka bolt in the outer wastes. Outer wastes. Gotta be this one. Erasing the Esh-Ka. There we go. Alright, you have to use the teleporter there. Okay. This is ancient Rakata technology, people. The one that Darth Revan precisely found in his travels. Before the first game happens, it's when Revan... beautiful planet. I love this planet in that sense. There we go. We have to go to that bolt. These are the original Rakata bolts. As you can see, the lore of this game has been perfectly executed. this is the technology that Revan and Malak found when... Alright, I need a companion. Please? Please, the rest will be deployed in... doing crew skills. Level 8 influence. That way, we should be good to go. Anyways, it should be more than enough. So I use my best companions to just deal with... Yes, you can see I got some extra abilities as I leveled up. So the rest of them can keep crafting my stuff for my augments for endgame stuff. Don't worry, people. That sounds... So basically, why are the Dread Masters so important to me? To the point that the mascot of my channel has the face of my Inquisitor, basically. Why are they so important? Well, they were the original Sith Lords that the developers talked about when they said that they were going to develop the original Knights of the Old Republic 3. In that sense. You must be thinking, well, but what does that have to do? What is that? Well, after you know that there's Knights of the Old Republic 1, the game, then Knights of the Old Republic 2, and then they, LucasArts and BioWare, they were going to develop Knights of the Old Republic 3, which was going to be an offline game. Before it turned into this one.
Bloodhound. Hope you enjoyed the scent.
Sarge is joking. Don't hurt us. Please, you gotta save us before those things come back.
The Esh-Ka.
I'm surprised they haven't killed you already.
We're only alive because they're after something. And it's all your fault. Your friends woke these monsters. We're here to seal them back up for good.
The Esh-Ka.
Stay back!
Skull Shatter. He does have a quite modern rifle for a supposedly primitive species. Watch it ugly.
One more step, and I'll blast that pretty face of yours.
What are you waiting for? Kill those things!
Don't tell me there's more of you Esh-Ka locked up here.
Skull Shatter and Blood Scream. Not bad. Not bad. Those are quite good names. Okay. The Esh-Ka. I told you you would love the Esh-Ka, people. I bet you will love the Esh-Ka by now. Who doesn't love the Esh-Ka by now? You guys are still alive.
Good moves, Hunter.
Thank you. Ah, the animation got back. Nice.
If I hadn't killed those Esh-Ka, they would have ripped you apart.
We owe you, all right. How about we work out a trade? You let us go, we tell you about a certain something.
Yes,
Shut
please.
up, Corporal. That's an order.
Come on, Sarge. The key to Belsavis's vault is our ticket out of here.
Corporal Rand's in shock. There is no key.
Corporal Rand's in shock. He doesn't look too bad.
You're not in shock, are you, Corporal? What's this about a key?
It opens any vault in the prison. Give it up, Sarge, or we'll never get home. Think of your wife. Tria, was it? And the kid. You don't want him growing up without you.
Fine. Let us go and the key's yours. Captain Black has it. Those things took him deeper into this vault.
That settles it. Find Captain Black and the key's all yours. Now just let us go, and we'll leave you in peace.
Don't let the Esh-Ka kill you on the way out.
Thank you!
Get moving, Corporal.
So my animation will remain there endlessly. It does look good though. That's look quite good. 43-second animation. Nice. Not bad, but nice. Nice effects. Okay, people, as I was mentioning, the original team of LucasArts and BioWare, they were developing Knights of the Old Republic 1, 2, and then, after the second game, they even announced, back then, we're talking about 2004, 2005, that they were going to develop Knights of the Old Republic 3. In fact, it started the development, and then turned into this game. But basically, the idea is Esh-Ka Moonbreaker. Oh, that one looks cool. The idea was back then that they announced nice. Yo, how's it going, Patrick? How's it going? How's it going? I have the next case for analysis ready after I finish this game, and that will I had also told a district that is going to be another isometric. It's going to be another isometric action RPG that I wanted to play since long ago. So that way, I will give you all. My idea is to give you all a wide variety of options because it's a genre I deeply love. Finally, a normal game, Flying Energies. Don't worry, I have plenty of normal games. Finally, Drakensang Online is not a normal game, Flying Energies, for you. The poor developers put all of their effort selling the company to the Chinese capitals. Good to see you, man. Today was the Drakensang Online's news. Maybe to Flying Energies or to me. Yeah, well, uh, they put all of that effort, Flying Energies. They put all of that effort, and you think it's not a normal game, perhaps? No. Did you hear about their idea to change PvP? The 3-hit combo that Flying Energies told me about precisely. That the warriors, I think it was, they were doing 3-hit combos. Nope, I was not. See, Patrick, he's totally cleansed. He has purified his body from impurities, from all of the impurities. He's like a monk that has transcended the poison. I am clean from Drakensang Online, and I feel amazing. See, I was right about the feeling. See, he's free of it. Patrick. And that's precisely what I was mentioning to you. That I have, after this game, a wider range of isometric action RPG games that I wanted to play for quite some time. That I also promised District I would showcase to kind of like give you all the best recommendations possible as I analyze them. Quite enigmatic cases. Quite enigmatic.
Come on.
I'll come back if they do Unreal Engine and add a new class. So it's a problem of graphics, so never count. That's a classic negotiation strategy. Asking for such insane requirements that the other part won't be able to fulfill them, and then you use that as an excuse to throw the agreement to shit. It's a natural psychological defense in a lot of cases. So pretty much I have to do just so you have an idea. I have to do a run of Titan Quest on the second difficulty to unlock the Embers expansion on the hardest difficulty.
I've dealt with the Esh-Ka, but this isn't over.
And the other one, which is the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing, that I wanted to play since quite some years. They are the same creators as Warhammer Inquisitor Martyr, so I want to play a game from Neo Core Games. I want to play those. So that way you will be able to have a wide range of options in case anyone gets tired of the non-normal game in that case. No, and I wanted to analyze them a lot. I told it to District as well some weeks ago, pretty much. So yeah, pretty much.
I think I'd do a little something extra.
The job's
So
near.
hopefully
We just
I
received
will
all
see
the
if I can
important
finish this
intel.
one today
Intelligence handed
or
over records
maybe
reveal
next Thursday,
apparently
and
this
then
prison's
I'll
thousands of
transition to
years
the
old,
next case of analysis.
built by something called
My old Dragon's Sang Online clan leader
Seems our friends were busy
is
alive
making a
to
new
every species they could
MMORPG. I
find.
hope if they
Using
launch
contra
it,
thin
you
VS
try
Flash
it.
numbers.
A new
With the
MMORPG,
survivors in stasis.
like he's developing the game. Patri, he's developing the
Should take
game.
out every last Esh-Ka.
Would have saved us a
Elder
headache.
Clan leader,
While you were
like
gone,
he's a
we
game
detected
developer.
a
Yeah,
spike in
wow.
Esh-Ka
He
activity.
he must have a team,
Sent
not
one of my
not
officers
him
to give it a
alone.
look.
I mean,
And look, second-degree burns and some cracked
as
ribs.
as long as
That's
it's
what's in
not
Esh-Ka territory.
turn-based,
Heavily guarded,
I
armed to the teeth.
I can consider it
That
for
root's our
analysis.
key holder.
But
And if
just
the
so you know,
Esh-Ka
Patrick,
concern we
you
can
can see that
piecemeal
I can be
Sanskrit
quite harsh with
all with any
analysis.
hope of
I also
freeing the
told it to
dreads.
District when I started uh, reviewing Dragon's Hang Online. It's the only thing. If I criticize something, please don't hate me. It's the only thing. It's the only thing I ask. You can see, for example, that when I criticize
Chunk it
Dragon's Hang
down this
Online
time.
a lot,
Once for the Esh-Ka,
District
once for the
does
key.
love it,
I can
even
read
though
these
the
orders, but
developers
move quickly.
are what they are.
More than credits for his sake. Commander Callum won't translating the Esh-Ka
And
statement
yeah, they
sense.
take the criticism
He'll bombard the
with
site
a lot
from
of
orbit if we fail.
with a lot of fun in that
Kill that
sense.
Esh-Ka and recover
So
his
yeah,
key.
that's the only thing. But no worries. I love MMORPG mechanics. I love them. I love them. Definitely. Metin 2, WoW inspired, and obviously Drakensang Online. Isn't that the one that? So no turn-based shit. Isn't that the one that Flying Energies mentioned to me the other day? Metin, could it be? It's like this one, tap targeting combat. Okay, that's my period. Hmm, interesting, interesting, interesting. I think it's the one Flying Energies commented. I think it's the one Flying Energies commented the other day. Epitome! Yes, it's the epitome of irony in that sense. Nah, this is a very private info. Only old clan members know about this game. Flying Energies did know about it. He was part of your clan or what? He mentioned that name, though I think it was the first one. It didn't have a 2, could it be? I think it didn't have a 2. Epitome. No. No. Well, no worries. I'll review any game that you guys would like. In that sense. After I'm done with my schedule, we have to do some things. Of course. I think we don't talk about the same game. No, yeah, he mentioned something like that. Because you said Metin 2. Yeah, he named that one. I am quite sure of it. It had the same. Yeah, Epitome looks like Metin 2. WoW style. No, but you didn't say Epitome back then, Fly Energies. You didn't say that one. You said Metin. I think one. No, I didn't. No. Epitome or Metin. Yeah, you named one. You named one. Which one was it? You kind of like said when Metin 2. Metin 2, no, Metin. Only that one or something like that. Well, maybe my memory is not helping me, but Epitome wasn't. Oh well, whatever. Uh, which one is the one you'd like, Patrick? It's Metin 2, that is being developed by your old Dragon's Hang Online clan leader. If they launch it, it's still in development. Hope if they launch it, you try it. Yeah, I can review. I review the main story. I don't do endgame content. Not even for this one, that is my favorite MMORPG. As I said, the... Yeah, sure, I can review it. Sure, sure. Monolithium, the Shattered Epoch. Wait, that one is the one that your friend... Which one is the one your friend is developing? Your friend or your old clan leader, in that sense, is developing. But still in development. Okay. This one. Also, okay, so that one is the one your friend is developing, not Metin. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. You, well, when the game launches, Patrick, if you'd like, when the game launches, you mention it to me, and I see if I can. First, I need to see if I somehow like the gameplay and everything. If I like it and I have time with the schedule, then I assign it to a date to start the release. Tell you some info that I don't understand. You smarter in this case. No, why you say that? No, I know. No, some info. No. Info about what, the combat system, the level design, the I forgot about the crew skills. I knew I was forgetting about something.
No problem.
By the way, regarding if XD, no, Patrick. I'm as standard as they come in that sense. The only difference is that I have a realist mindset rather than modern relativist one. That's the only tangible difference. No, no. Regarding that, to make you all feel better, that you, for example, Flying Energy said, finally a normal game. This game also has had its shit. For example, you cannot, back in the day, you couldn't equip purple level gear without an artifact authorization, without a specific object in game that players would scalp for it. In that sense, so there you have an idea that there are shit movements by every company. It is true that, getting into the more serious topic, that it is true that when you sell your game to a Chinese company, they crank up those pay to win mechanics to the infinite. But this one is from Electronic Arts, so imagine that they were greedy. They were quite greedy, and when the game went free to play, it had a lot of restrictions in that sense. So yeah, I can tell you a lot of stupid, crazy decisions. Modern Java, Unreal Engine 5 based, okay, yeah, the thing. DRP, MMORPG, it will be open world. No, I don't work with Java. I work with React, of course, and well, if the client asks for it, instead of React, for whatever reason, there are some legacy sites, they need HTML, CSS, and kind of like without the framework on top of it. I just do the front end. I do the user interface. I don't do the database. I do the front end, like the user interface. I ensure that when you click a button, the button will correctly direct you to the other website or things like that, and how it looks like, and etc. But yeah, those are quite. I'll have a problem with Unreal Engine 5 because for that I would need to update Windows, and I don't like that. I've heard quite dramatic stories about Windows 10. That could be a problem, eh? I would tell your friend that using Unreal Engine 5 could have some compatibility problems with Windows 10, with older versions. And generally, MMORPG players are,
The Esh-Ka's prison break is over. Here's the key.
they tend to play with lower graphics,
Incredible. We must
and that
abort
could
this at
cause
once.
problems with the operative system. Unreal Engine 5 is incompatible with unupdated versions of Windows 10 even. He's leaving out a whole market of partly Windows 10, and well, believe it or not, people there's still people who use Linux, Windows 7, Ubuntu, whatever. So I wouldn't go for Unreal Engine 5 for an MMORPG, but I bet he knows much more than I do. I don't develop games. I develop websites in that sense. So if I was asked in a company, I wouldn't choose Unreal Engine 5 yet because you are leaving out a portion of the market. For example, I don't have it updated, and for example, because of the shaders that it uses, unless someone does a fix for the game, which some have, it doesn't work on specific versions of Windows 10. And you must be thinking, well, why don't you update? You are the idiot. Um, Modern versions of, first of all, I could tell you dramatic stories of people who have updated to Windows 10, 11. I don't know if any of you updated to Windows 11, Flag Energy's Patrick, but I've heard dramatic stories. And when I say dramatic, I mean it.
Excuse me, Commander, there's still the matter of the surviving Esh-Ka.
Like having to wipe
Thousands
the whole
remain
hard
caged in
drive
tanks.
again
Your recommendation, Colonel?
The key's ours.
to reinstall.
Why not keep the Esh-Ka riled up?
And
Then
second,
someday
it is
we
bloated
unleash them
with
on our enemies.
it is full of
I appreciate that
bloatware.
potential, but your inability
Bloatware
to
is
control them makes your
basically
opinion worthless.
uh,
You, on the
programs
other
that
hand,
are
have triumphed over these
unneeded
aliens.
for the efficiency
Are
of
they
the
too dangerous
operating
to control?
system.
Or does their
For
brutal
example,
efficiency outweigh the risks?
the Esh-Ka are too dangerous. Mm, the other hand, you have triumphed over. Yeah, to take control of the Esh-Ka, to use them as weapons. He mentioned about dungeon role-playing. That's like standard MMORPG, no? Yes, for example, in this game, there are a lot of people who, instead of doing the dungeons or playing player versus player combat, instead of playing, they roleplay. They roleplay. They just roleplay with their guildmates, for example, and it's quite a success because nowadays audiences are
As you wish, Commander.
after the release of, I presume why he does it, smart move that one, because since the release of Dungeons and Dragons 5.0, Patrick, you know, if you know the tabletop game that they play generally in the US a lot, how do I put it without offending people? There's been a massive casualization of role playing, correct? So, because of that massive casualization of role playing, with the 5.0 rule set of Dungeons and Dragons, with that 5.0 rule set of Dungeons and Dragons, because of that casualization, okay, we'll clear the story objectives here, and then proceed to free the Dreadmasters people as I tell you the story. Since he mentioned dungeon role playing, okay, since that casualization of the tabletop game, I don't know if you've seen it, Patrick, you can, for example, well, if you can stomach it because it's very very liberal and woke, the ones behind it, because it's Wizards of the Coast. They are financed by the Democrat Party in that sense, that are the owners of the Dungeons and Dragons license. And for example, Critical Role is from California, from that very same line of thought. You can see, for example, Critical Role is a channel here over at Twitch or at YouTube that they do Dungeons and Dragons 5.0, and there you can see how casualized it is compared to the rules that, for example, I don't play the, I have never played the tabletop game. In that sense, it's something very very American. It's something specific to the US, that phenomenon. But I played Baldur's Gate on Throne of Vault difficulty, which is the highest, and it's Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. Since 5.0, they've massively casualized it, and that's a very smart move because I presume he's trying to attract the players of the tabletop game, of this new wave of a bit casualized 5.0 Dungeons and Dragons players. And in this MMORPG, for example, you can see now that something that didn't happen back then a lot, that they roleplay. They roleplay with their guildmates. Imagine that you and me, we form a guild, and I don't know. For example, here, some of them play as if they are they. It's like a theater play. It's like a theater play in which they play as a real Sith or a real Jedi or a real trooper or whatever with their guildmates, and they all play along. If you don't, if you don't respect your role or the roles of the other guildmates, you are expelled from that guild. They are dedicated role-playing guilds. They are there for you to roleplay, not to, I don't know, what I do, which is player versus player combat, as you can see here. I generally I I dedicate myself to kill other players and also do raids or dungeons, for example. And well, there are some guilds that just do role playing, and I bet he's trying to capitalize on those. Smart move, because a lot of the people nowadays play games casually, sadly, but it is the truth of the matter. It is the truth of the matter. Most people play games in a very casual way nowadays, uh, in comparison. So, for example, in this game, this is my favorite MMORPG. Most people aren't even fully geared, and they honestly don't care because they will just role play with other people and just do 1 or 2 dungeons as a secondary activity. I'm excited about Monolithum because I will make sure my name will be on a secret wall or in a city poster. Exactly. Monolithum is your. That's an. Was that the name of your friend's MMORPG? Ah, yeah. It was the Shattered Epoch. Yeah. Just make sure to, if he's using Unreal Engine, you make sure you have Windows updated, in that sense. Oh, damn it, he was doing the story. He's another bounty hunter. Fuck. Now the bosses will take a bit of time to respawn. Let's free the Dread Masters then, people. Straight up. Until the others respawn here. They'll take a bit to respawn. Be sure to have, if he's using Unreal Engine 5, make sure to have Windows updated, which will bring you a lot of issues. I will. I can foresee that it may cause you some issues, but yeah. Oh, not connected. There. Right. You have to use a teleporter. You have to use a teleporter. They are kind of like separated. So, well, happy for your friend. Congratulations to him, because developing a game is a huge achievement. It's kind of like quite hard development, and it's a high risk-reward ratio. I imagine he must have a team. Helping him, but basically, creating a video game, an MMORPG, nonetheless, is always a huge achievement, because it's more difficult than developing, like I do, websites. Basically, the user interfaces of websites, website development in that sense. But yeah, in that case, besides, he's also quite brave, because, as I said, it's a high risk reward industry. It's not like just doing website for a company, you get paid and that's it. He's probably putting a lot of money on the table to have it created. I think modeling and for art, yeah, but in the development side, they developed the game with his brother. Yeah. He for art and modeling. Yeah, for the 3D modeling. That's generally that, and with his brother. Well, if they know a lot, they can no, but I'm sure they had a bit more of people, because otherwise it's impossible. Uh, it's not it's just way too much work. Besides, you are telling me he's going to do it open world. In that sense, there was a modern project quite similar to this. 700 treasure hunter people. Yes, there was a project quite similar to what you are describing, which is the Black Grimoire Curse Breaker. I don't know if you've heard of that game. I wanted to showcase it.
Speaking. Good work, Hunter. I see you've tracked down Operation Group 2's
It's an offline
What is their status?
version
Dead.
of
Every last
RuneScape,
one.
of
What's
old
left is his
RuneScape,
data pad.
in that
The
sense.
records are encrypted.
Standard Black Ops protocol. Upload the data and I'll decode it.
In that sense, the Black Grimoire Curse Breaker.
Confidential report. Mission to rescue the Dread Masters. Ah, here we are. According to this log, Operations Group 1 set out to free the Sith. Group 2 stayed behind to secure their escape. Then they were attacked.
It is time, people. You're gonna meet the mascots of the channel.
Your men were black ops. A massacre like this is embarrassing.
They were prepared to deflect the Republic. But this bears the mark of the Esh-Ka. You may have stopped their escape before, but many still roam free. And they're growing stronger. I'm officially placing a bounty on the Dread Masters. Ensure their safety, and you will receive riches from the Emperor's personal treasury.
He has an LTD that makes the game with him. Well, I assume another developer, basically. An IT developer, maybe. An IT, an IT developer, maybe. Yeah, maybe it was an I instead of an L. Yeah, because it's a capital letter. Yeah, an IT developer. That's indeed. That makes sense, because as I said, besides if it's open world and if it's online, he needs to have like the backend, the servers, and also the front end. Patrick. For anyone else watching, we are basically discussing an MMORPG that Patrick, here, viewer of the channel, his old what was it? His old guild master is now developing.
If masters are so powerful,
It's
how
now
would they
developing and is
terrorize
going
the
to launch,
Esh-Ka into submission?
and basically we are discussing MMORPGs about that he's developing a new MMORPG after playing Dragon's Online, in that sense. Yeah. As I told you, it needs to be a huge team, because it's not only the modeling and everything. They have to connect the backend with the front, and that's the worst part. He's the boss of a limited liability corporation. Okay, the boss of a limited liability corporation. Okay, so he has a company that develops the game. Okay, and in there I bet he has workers. Patrick, trust me, it cannot be only him and his brother. But though it's a quite similar legend to the to David Brevik, and there were two brothers over at Blizzard that I don't remember the last names. I don't know shit. In Hungary we call that as KFT. Yeah. We also wouldn't call it Limited Liability Corporation. We'll call it Limited. Yeah, quite similar. No, a limited responsibility maybe. It would change only that word, but it would be pretty much the same. But basically, well, congratulations to him, Patrick. Congratulations to him, because in that sense, creating an MMORPG, you have to create the backend, then the front end. By that I mean, just like in a website, you have the servers running with the info, with your account. For example, when you make an account over at YouTube or whatever, that account is stored in the backend, in the server. And then the front end, all of the, well, in my case, the user interface, but in the case of him, the 3D modeling, the art, well, he also needs an interface for the game, for the tab targeting to work and everything. So yeah, pretty much, pretty much. Patrick, it's a huge achievement. He should be proud of himself. It's a high reward. It's a high risk. It's a highly risky department, because generally games uh, are based on the success in a lot of cases is based on, sadly, on on advertising, on advertising the on advertising advertisement campaigns, basically on advertising the game itself rather than the objective quality, sadly, in a lot of modern cases. That's a sad topic whenever I talk about. Have you noticed, people, that nowadays games are successful, sadly, in the last 2-3 generations because of their popularity rather than their objective quality? That's something disgusting that it has been, well, pretty much the worst scene of our gaming industry, I guess. If I had to pick, that we have amazing games, precisely what I do on the channel, reviewing underrated games that sadly would be amazing. For example, the Black Curse Grimoire, as I've said, you can see that RuneScape was extremely successful, and the game is basically an improved version of RuneScape, and I bet it doesn't have the financial success of a full-fledged MMORPG. Um, so in that sense, you can see there that nowadays you need money for more for advertising your game than to use it to care about the objective quality in that sense. Oh, look at that. A force-sensitive Esh-Ka. Would you look at that? I smell our friends. A tree grows in the close waist drinking. Yeah, they speak in a poetic. There they are, people. Recognize someone. There they are. Recognize someone. There you could see briefly one of them. You're going to meet my friends, the mascot of the channel, the ones that my armor is inspired on. Is inspired by, in that sense, the Dreadmasters. So, getting to that interesting story, the idea is that Knights of the Old Republic 3. So fun to watch the gameplay. I didn't watch a single Star Wars episode. Oh, lovely that you. It warms my heart that you like it. Besides, because I know that you all love Dragons and Online, and I know that, for example, Patrick, I know that you all have played Dragons and Online a lot, and I know it can be hard, because it happened to me with this game. I played this game so much that then, as I said, I didn't quit this game back in 2015 because I got tired of it. There are games that you just don't get tired of, and that's why I completely understand all of you when you, for example, I think it was you who said the first time you saw this one, no Dragons and Online, no fun. Well, for example, that maybe you play a game so much that you just uh, don't play other games because you don't get tired of that one. In the case of Dragons and Online, it happened to me with this game. I played this one so much, I didn't want to play other games. I was so used to it.
I don't pull the trigger unless I have a reason to, pal.
So, as I said, it warms my heart that you enjoy the gameplay of a different game. In that sense, I am useful for something with this stream, like that, because at least I can showcase all of these amazing games that deserved much more attention back in the day. and and well, as I said, I have plenty of isometric action RPG games that I bet you'll see, and the final objective of my channel is that to help expand the horizon of choices for everyone who watches the stream in that sense. You'll see I'll bring you some isometric action RPG games besides Diablo 2 Million XL that I mentioned to you, and you will see and you will see that you have a whole universe to entertain yourself if you like Dragon's Online, this one or any other game. You, you will see, because I precisely I had that feeling back in the day
Savage. My
that
answers
I
are
only like
trust.
this game. I
Deal.
only like this game, basically. I realized in these days that so many memories and nostalgic shit happens when I'm playing Dragon's Online because the map didn't change a bit. No other game can give me that nostalgic vibe like Dragon's Online. Yes, 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 indeed, indeed. It happens to me with this game. Without a doubt, without a doubt, without a doubt, I will always regard this one as my favorite game ever. That's my favorite game ever. For me, this game has no, it has no competition. For me, this game has no competition. But but in that sense, I stopped playing back in 2015 because I thought I am losing on a lot of other games, that maybe also deserve my attention. Maybe also deserve my attention, and I don't know about the history of the gaming industry. I wanted to know about the history, in fact. And then I played World of Warcraft. Then after this game, I played World of Warcraft in that sense, and I wanted to see where the mechanics of this game came from. And I realized World of Warcraft, and then other genres, and etc. And thanks to that, now I can appreciate the beauty of the different genres, and in that sense, that's what I like sharing on stream with all of you. Uh, that's why I don't stream Dragons and Online exclusively, or any other game exclusively, because I want to share the joy of discovering uh, different genres in that sense. Sometimes when I load in a map in Dragon's Online, I can feel like I'm a kid yelling of joy because I unlocked the new skill. I'm just sad now that the only good thing we could get in the future is a PvP change, which I will grind as hell. No, it's okay. It's okay. If it's your favorite game, I came back to this one after 10 years to to play it again. I'm not saying that it will that Dragon's Online will stop being your favorite game. That's impossible to replace. What I say is that, well, precisely that you can find fun in watching the gameplay of a totally different stuff, just like I did with Dragon's Online. For me, that is doing a useful. Is it through here? What the fuck? I know there's an elevator. There's an elevator. Wait. I was about to jump. I was about to jump. No, there's an elevator here. Let's unmount. That's the joy indeed. Dragon's Online is like a very weak 310 game overall, but for me that's another story. Well, the other day Phantom asked me what qualification I would sincerely award to the game so far, and I awarded it a 7.5, close to 8. I gave the reasons if you'd like to listen to them. Um, first, first, most isometric action RPG games back in the release date in which Dragon's Online was released, they didn't have an elemental system. Also, the fact that you can break the armor of the enemies is a huge difference with most isometric action RPGs. That's the thing. That's why I mentioned to you that I played quite a lot of isometric action RPG games, and that's why I measure the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics. Most isometric action RPG games don't have an elemental system. don't have an elemental system. That's why I guess I appreciate that of Drakensang Online. Of course, it has a lot of defects that I mentioned on stream constantly. Um, but one of the things that I said was that it's a game that got the basics right in a period of time in which it wasn't common. For example, back in 2010, I think it was. Yeah, the main story gameplay is real good, but the game only starts after level 100 quest. The main quest is like 5%. No Drakensang district, right? No district, don't do that. Don't do that to me, district. I was precisely mentioning that that the objective of the stream is to expand the horizon of games that I can offer you, so you can appreciate them. Don't worry, District, we'll keep playing Dragons and you love the streams about them. Well, I'm grateful that you all enjoy them. Don't worry, District is the next one after I finish this one will be an isometric action RPG. Will be an isometric action RPG. Will be an isometric action RPG that I bet you will all enjoy. There we'll be able to establish some comparisons with Drakensang Online, precisely. You cry, I feel so bad, District. You love the gameplay of Drakensang Online. But I'm a newbie, I'm doing things that hardcore players would consider quite basic in that sense. Oh. Things that they would consider quite basic in that sense. Oh well, grateful that you love the gameplay. Grateful that you love the gameplay. Don't worry, we'll play it on Tuesdays, and then on Thursdays after I'm done with this one. We'll get to another isometric action RPG that I bet. Then District, you'll tell me, oh, so good that you chose this isometric action RPG game. It adds a lot of variety to it. My energies can't find a game to enjoy. I'm so sad for him. No, why? No, bring him along. What? I can recommend him millions of games. That's what I do. He cannot find a game to enjoy, but you mean for the stream or for the or to play offline, like completely offline on his own, or on stream. He was going to play Lost Ark. District was you told me he was going to play Lost Ark. Lost Ark was it Lost Ark? He can't find the game to no for stream. Ah well, yeah, for stream the thing is that well there's another problem. There's another problem, which is that you can play any game, but a lot of people won't watch your gameplay because of the game. In that sense, that's why I stream variety. But if you do, yeah, he wanted to play Lost Ark, but Lost Ark is a super grindy game. Well, yeah, the thing is that well, I can recommend him millions of games. Is what I do. But yeah, the thing is that if your audience is used to watch you play a single game for a lot of years, then when you switch the game, of course, a lot of them will not show up. I cannot recommend or tell him in that sense to do what I did or what I do, which is not caring about that at all, because at the end of the day, it shows. In that sense, is the reason why my stream has been semi-empty for the 4 years that I've been streaming. In that sense, so I cannot recommend that to him as a, let's say, image brand advice. In that sense, because in that category I'm a complete failure in that sense regarding that. But what I can say is that that at least offline, he has millions of games like Dragons and Online that I will recommend to all of you as well as I play them.
Understood.
So yeah, the problem is that if the game is quite unknown, he will need to get used to play alone, basically on stream, which is kind of like the worst possible scenario for him, I imagine. He likes MMORPG, action RPG style games. What game would you recommend to him? As I've said, um, I enjoyed Sacred 2 a lot. I played Sacred 2. And it's as big as a Skyrim. It took me a year last time. But then, of course, if he wants to have audience, it's an offline game that won't have the traction, the attention of I don't know, this one or Drakensang online. As I've said, in my case, I really do not care about it. If I have to stream alone, I do it and I enjoy the game. But I presume he wants to also have an audience in that sense. I would recommend him Sacred 2. I would recommend that one definitely. It's amazing game. But then yeah, you'll see that the category, because of how Twitch organizes categories, the game will be at the bottom because it will have low viewership, and because of that, it may not be good for, like, in a business sense, I guess. He wants some online games. Yeah, I presume that in online games it's not precisely my specialty, sadly. Because he wants to make a community with the game he'll play. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't. I generally don't play online games. I review offline games most of the time. Yeah, I get what he's mentioning. I get what he's mentioning, and he's right, and he's uh, a proper streamer in that sense, but I wouldn't pick my games out of creating a community personally in my case. But don't pay attention to me because I am a weird guy in that sense. I honestly care about different things. I I have different kind of like a totally different structure. I would recommend Sacred 2 as a great offline game. If he wants an online game, it's sadly not my specialty. What could I recommend? Online, like MMORPG, thumbs up. Online MMORPG that he likes playing, like Dragons. Well, there is one. But the community won't be big enough. I can recommend. No, wait. The Path of Exile, maybe? Path of Exile? Has he tried Path of Exile? Has he tried Path of Exile? I bet there he can build a pretty good community, for example. I played Path of Exile and it was online, I guess. Path of Exile, but yeah, I don't know. If he wants to build a community, it's just that, as I've said, my structure is completely different. If I have to stream alone, I honestly don't care. I start talking about metaphysics, about the analysis, about everything, and if people like it, alright. And if people don't like it, well, I'll keep streaming alone because I have a fun time just analyzing the games. Yeah, but not thought Path of Exile 2 and quit after 5 days because everyone was doing endgame and he was like only level 30. Mm, okay, well then it's really not my field of expertise. I need to be honest. It's one of the great important parts of life, people. When you don't know about something, saying I don't know, honestly. I thought so. If it's about games that he wants to play offline, I have millions to recommend to him and all of you. If it's online, as I've said, more than Path of Exile or those, I really like reviewing offline. Yeah, it's hard to find the game. That's why I hope he will find it. No, yes. But the thing is that it's more of a business-oriented perspective in that sense. Um, because there you're uh, not caring about your own tastes as much as the effectiveness of building a community over the online game. And truly, that's not what I personally look for here in Twitch. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, oh well, oh well, whatever. Like I I would first care about enjoying the game myself, and then see if it is enjoyed by others. Uh, all right, but as I've said, I don't want to be a slave of one game. I would say, and I enjoy and the most important contribution I can do to community as a whole is I recommend to him were Lost Ark, Guild Wars 2, Warframe, Soulframe. Yeah, they are all quite grindy. The ones that you mentioned to him, they are all quite grindy in that sense. So as I said, the biggest contribution I can make to any community is not the game itself, is what I can um, talk about the game. Is what I can talk about the game with the metaphysics, with the review, etc. And as I've said, expanding the horizon of recommendations. For example, if you told me he wants an offline isometric action RPG district instead of streaming it as I said, like a business perspective, I would recommend him all of the ones that I have been mentioning: Diablo 2, Median Excel, uh, Titan Quest, the ones that I'm playing at least, I guess. Torchlight, I don't know, maybe even Elder Scrolls, but they are all offline. They are all offline, and because of that, naturally the audience won't be there in that sense. Well, people, it's a screenshot time. Meet the mascots of the channel. Meet the greatest. He has a Diablo 4. No idea why he's not playing such a good game. Well, I wouldn't. Well, first I wouldn't play it because of the flop that was Diablo 3. First, district that was quite controversial one. But also, it doesn't have a lot of endgame content for him. It doesn't have a lot of endgame content for him. And also, I can tell you another thing. Big games like those already have their established communities and everything. And because of that, if you don't have a huge audience to start with, then you are sent to the bottom of the channels. You are sent to the bottom of the channels, and it's the equivalent of what I do, which is streaming offline games in categories that have zero people and no one cares about, and there it can affect him as well. But speaking about Diablo, don't forget after Dragon's Online you have to play Diablo. No, please, no. First, the next game I will pick it, and then I will add Diablo Immortal to it. Don't worry, District. Don't worry. We'll play Dragon's Online and the other game that I have. That you'll like it as well. The one that I'm going to showcase, as I've said, because of everything that we've been discussing, it will be offline. And I also have to do a run of Titan Quest. A Diablo Immortal game, please. Thumbs up. Yeah, don't worry. I will play it. I will play Diablo Immortal in the schedule. Because I want I have to do a run of Titan Quest. Because I want to unlock the Embers expansion. See, this is what I'm mentioning precisely to you. I stream Titan Quest, for example, because I have to kind of like unlock the third difficulty, not because I think anyone is going to watch me. In fact, I stream assuming that no one is going to watch me, in that sense. Right from the get-go, I assume that I would say that, but well, it's not going to help him business side. Business side, I am the worst possible failure ever. I am, in that sense, regarding the building a community for streaming. In that sense, I in that sense, I would recommend him that to so well, it's a terrible advice if he wants to do that. If he wouldn't want to do that, I would say play whatever you want. If you're having fun, you are winning. Oh well, that's the thing. Okay, people. Speaking of that, meet the mascots of the channel. Recognize someone? Recognize the mask? Anyone? Anyone recognize them? Anyone recognizes them? They are asleep for now. Oh yes, they are asleep. I always thought this one was the best design of the mask. Recognize someone! Look at those armors! I want you to have a recording for me. Sorry, this one is the best design. The design of Lord Raptus. Recognize any design, people? I wanted to have this recorded personally. Meet the Dreadmasters. They inspired my armor, the armor of my sorcerer, and I wanted to have a recording of them right here. You must be thinking, who are these guys? Well, you'll meet them in a second. But first, I wanted to have a nice screenshot with them as they sleep. First, I wanted to see something. The model of the lightsaber, I wanted to see something. Perfect. The model is the High Prophet lightsaber, as you can see there. It's a quite specific model. First, screenshots. Sorry, people, I want to keep these ones for myself, precisely for eternity, in case the game goes down. Meet the Dreadmasters, 6 of them. Bestia, which means beast in Spanish, Calphias, Raptus, Tyrants, Brontes, and Styrak. The 6 Dreadmasters. Let me have them recorded there. There we go, 2 screenshots for me. I keep them with me. And now you will meet my friends and you will see why I love them so much and the history behind them, because these were the original Sith Lords mentioned in the potential Knights of the Old Republic 3 creation of LucasArts and BioWare back in the day when they were going to release Knights of the Old Republic 3. These were the original Sith Lords. The idea in the papers that were found after they ditched the development of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 3 to turn it into this MMORPG, they said that we would face the most powerful Sith Lords ever. And they were actually referring to these guys that you will see, and that's why I use the armor on my main sorcerer. They are imprisoned here in the planet world of Belsavis. You can do this as any Imperial class. It's the planetary storyline. An abomination pollutes us. And now you will meet the mascots of the channel, and I'll have it recorded for eternity, even if the game goes down. Yes. The torrent of fear will shatter our tomb. Okay, here we can see the perfect design of BioWare. Austin, in this case, they created a whole studio just to apply the signature of role-playing to the idea. Let me remove the chat there, sorry. Pay attention to that plot element, people. The mines. Okay, here we go. Ah, we got company. Let me use area of effect there. So, in the original papers that were discovered several years later... Ah, they are trying to kill them. No, don't touch them. They are way too sacred for you to lay your hands on them. No, leave them alone. In the original idea, the papers that they found before Knights of the Old Republic 3 turned into this game, the original idea of LucasArts was to ensure that the player would meet the powerful Sith Lords that Revan looked for in the first game. And this was the original idea, besides of course, the Sith Emperor. in that sense. These are the talk to Dreadmaster Raptus. To the leader, of course. Mr. Dreadmaster Raptus, of course. This, you'll see the original idea of Knights of the Old Republic 3 that has been lost to time. And the reason why I have the same armor and the mascot of the channel. You'll see. Meet the Dreadmasters, people. The original dreadful Sith Lords alongside the Vitiate the Emperor. These were his advisors. Look at those masks. So fascinating. See?
You dare seek control over the Dreadmasters?
The design of the mask is amazing.
Fear.
Well, as you can see, the Dreadmasters are
None can contain us, not this prison, not the Republic, and certainly not these creatures.
I'm honored,
It's a
my lord.
privilege to finally meet the Dreadmasters.
Of course.
Your resolve is strong, Hunter. Few brave our company. Even fewer maintain their sanity.
Indeed. That's the point, people. They were the masters of mind control. They would control entire planets.
In here, men! Take down the Imperials! Secure the Dread...
Warden Graal, how nice to see you.
That lump in your throat, it's panic.
See how well designed the dialogue lines were back in the day. The usage of language is another important factor. That nowadays, I don't know if you notice, people, a lot of games developed by native English speakers have such a limited range of vocabulary in comparison. See how well designed, and the quality of the voice acting. That's something that reviewers don't pay attention to. The quality of the voice acting is so well done, because they are meant to instill fear, as you can deduce by now. As you can see by now, see how the intonation of the voice acting is of such high quality that the impression of psychologically suggesting that they cause fear to the player that is playing the game is caused by the intonation of the voice. Pay attention to how they do it, rather than, besides, as I've said, a rich vocabulary in the dialogue lines.
Show the Republic the true meaning of terror.
First, the pupils dilate, muscles tighten, hysteria replaces rationality, and then...
Amazing voice acting.
mind shatters.
I need to get a weapon modification that gives the player the red eyes like that. As you can see, masters of mind control. Impressive. I'm glad we're on our side. Well, then they rebel against the Empire, and you can
use that kind of power.
And you fight them in an operation.
Commander Callum, the Dreadmasters are ready for extraction.
Incredible work. Consider your contract fulfilled, Hunter. I am Commander Callum, my lords. It's my honor to ensure your safe passage off Belsavis. An evacuation team awaits you in minimum security.
Good. We'll strike out at once. But first, we terrorize the Esh-Ka. You have served the Empire well, mercenary. We are truly impressed.
The Dread Masters aren't known for their compliments, but I agree with their assessment. All that remains is your debriefing. I will await your company aboard the space station. Commander Callum out.
Well, people, there you could meet my friends. My armor is inspired by them. You could see how amazing they are. Well, my friends, they are just NPCs in a video game. You are my friends, people. The idea is that these guys were the original design that Knights of the Old Republic 3 was going to have. You could see the attention, the insane amount of attention to um, the intonation of their voice, to how they created these scenes, and all of that is fascinating because it creates the psychological feeling of for the player of I don't know, in this case, terror that they cause, manipulating the minds and everything. But as you can see, they are quite cool. They are quite cool, and they were the original design. They were the original design of Knights of the Old Republic 3. Something that very few people know. In the papers, as I've said, when the development team of this game found them, they said that the player had to go. The idea was for the player to go to the uncharted regions that Revan had gone before the first game to fight the most powerful Sith Lords ever. In those papers, the ones that were being mentioned are the Dread Masters and the Emperor. These were the advisors of the Emperor. Before, we're talking about roughly 3,000 years before the movies. And in that case, as I said, Revan, after the story that happens in the first game, in Knights of the Republic 1, he then is haunted by nightmares of what had happened before the first game, and he goes back to the uncharted regions of space, and there he finds the capital of Draman Kas, with the Sith Emperor being advised by the Dread Masters, precisely, and there, after that point, there's the NPC that we need to kill. Let's go. And there, in that sense, there we go. He is imprisoned by the Emperor and everything. It is all explained in the book Revan that I showed you at the beginning of the series. And after the book Revan, this game takes place. They mutated the idea. They mutated the idea to an MMORPG afterwards, as a late idea in the development process of this game. So Knights of the Republic 3 turned into this one, and basically this one is the Jedi Knight story is Knights of the Old Republic 4. And the other stories that we are playing here, they're like parallel spin-offs of that very same story, in that sense. Okay, so I wanted you to meet the Dread Masters. You can see the mascot of the channel and why my sorcerer uses that armor, and that specific mask, the mask that they use, the Dreadguard mask, in that sense. It's used to channel their minds together. The six of them are linked, and that's how they manipulate whole fleets by controlling the minds of the people. In that sense, they use those masks to link themselves up, like the Protoss in StarCraft, in that sense. Okay, so there you have it. I wanted to have this recorded in case the game ever goes down. I'll have my my small souvenir of having a video with the amazing Dreadmasters. Okay, people, we have to finish the chapters. We have to finish the Bounty Hunter storyline. And as I said, the next case of analysis, as you can read from the title description, that we are going to do. After I finish the main story here. As I said, I have to do a run of Titan Quest.
I think you're gonna be pleased.
On the second difficulty of the game, really quick. I will not do side quests. I just need to do the main story because it's the only way to unlock the final difficulty mode with the Embers expansion. I want to play the Embers expansion of Titan Quest, which is only doable on the hardest difficulty of the game. Where's the objective? On the hardest difficulty of the game. I know we have to finish the main story quest, then we can turn in all of the quests all together. Yeah, let's finish the main story for the Bounty Hunter. We leave the planet, then we do the main story in the other over at Boss and Corellia, and we are done with the story. And like that, we can wrap up the series and start the next case of analysis. As I was mentioning, I have to do one run of Titan Quest on the second difficulty to then unlock the Embers expansion, and also, as I was commenting previously, the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. I wanted to play that game a lot. It was developed by Core Games. I want to analyze what they did with that game because it's the one that then inspired Warhammer Inquisitor Martyr that I also wanted to play in that sense. So that's basically the structure that we are going to follow. And then, of course, the Ultimate 3DS Showcase, we also have it scheduled. We have to continue with Dragon's Sang Online. And, of course, we are going to do then Diablo Immortal. Okay, I wanted to review that one. Also, it's quite intriguing because I played Diablo 3 and I want to see what on earth they did after Diablo 3 in that sense. I want to see what they did. But well, I want you to see the Dreadmasters, people. As I was mentioning, I have the theory, and well, it is a match, that the Dreadmasters were the original idea of Knights of the Old Republic 3, as I was mentioning. In the papers that were found, that they were the original Sith Lords. So then, in the story of this game, you go to Oricon, to another planet that I showcased as well in one of the streams, and I explore the whole world. Then we also need to do Knights of the Eternal Throne Master Mode, since we already finished, for those of you who don't know, watching this as a YouTube bot, we did Knights of the Fallen Empire Master Mode at a very low armor rating. So in that sense, the only thing that is a huge, big new expansion of this game left for me to explore then in the future, because I need to gear up for it, it's Knights of the Eternal Throne Master Mode. Basically, I need to do that one. I will finish that one, and with that, in some few months, then by the end of the year, we can come back and do Knights of the Eternal Throne Master Mode after all of the isometric action RPG games. And yeah, pretty much like that, we'll do Master Mode, and with that, that's the final, last huge expansion that we have left. Don't tell me it's on top of the hill. Yeah, it has to be on top of the hill. Is the last huge expansion that we have left to do, that I have left to do as a returning player to the game, correct? So yeah, I will also upload some of the operations I do off stream to YouTube directly, and yeah, that's pretty much the idea. Knights of the Eternal Throne Master Mode, I bet it will prove to be a challenge, but as a conclusion of the series, I wanted to highlight why I think this is the pretty much the best game of all time. Well, first of all, as I have been mentioning, the key is that it's the most versatile game I have ever seen. It works perfectly as a single player game. The same was meant to be a single player game. It works perfectly as a multiplayer game. The PvP, the player versus player combat, is objective based, overcoming the limited possibilities. Alright, it was through here. The limited possibilities of World of Warcraft's formula, precisely, that was only arena based. In this case, the war zones allowed for objective based player versus player combat, and I think that's another huge bonus for the multiplayer portion of it. If on top of that we add the classic signature of bioware, of adding the role-playing elements to the gameplay mechanics, inheriting the style of Mass Effect, Knights of the Republic 1 and 2, we get the most versatile game of all time because of this, because it works flawlessly as a single player game and it works flawlessly as a multiplayer game, seamlessly. It transitions from one style to the other perfectly. You even have companion conversations, a companion system. The companion system was a huge innovation compared to precisely to World of Warcraft. And while this game was lacking content at the beginning of its life cycle, by now it's basically endless. You have 8 games in one, because you have 8 story classes in one, first of all, regarding the single player RPG aspect. And well, because of those and many more reasons I covered as we completed Knights of the Fallen Empire on Master difficulty, this game has the most versatile style of gameplay I've ever seen. In that sense, it uses the classic rules of Dungeons & Dragons 4.0, something that not a lot of reviewers paid attention to back in the day. They just say a World of Warcraft clone. It's the same story that when I say that people call isometric action RPG games Diablo clones, and here is the same. They call all of these games World of Warcraft clones or MMORPGs or whatever, and really there's a lot of huge differences that this game has with those. As I've said, we'll do Knights of the Eternal Throne Master Mode. Knights of the Eternal Throne Master Mode. After I gear up for it in some months, after I'm done with the isometric action RPG games for the channel. As I've said, I need to do a run of Titan Quest very briefly, and then we can do that. We defeat that one. It's part of the main story. We have to attract them. We are being chased as bounty hunters, people. So other reasons that I highlighted, as I've said, the inherited Dungeons & Dragons 4.0 style with the tap targeting combat. As I mentioned, this is a quite amazing phenomenon, that the tap targeting combat, that it hasn't been fully exploited, if you ask me. I think Dungeons & Dragons 4.0, the tap targeting combat system is still the highest point of abstract complexity in terms of the gameplay mechanics, because you are forced to execute your rotation in a specific order, something that does not happen in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. Think about a Baldur's Gate, for example, or Icewind Dale, and then even modern games. You use your abilities in any order you'd like, but in the system that was, yes, created by World of Warcraft, in that sense the innovation, we have to attribute it to World of Warcraft. in Dungeons and Dragons 4.0, as you can see, I am forced to activate the rotation in a specific order. What I was commenting about Drakensang Online the other day, that having a sequential rotation. Marcus Fletcher, yo, this game is fire. Hello, Marcus Fletcher. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the 49th follower of the channel. You are a. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. You are an old player of Star Wars: The Old Republic, or are you a newcomer to the game? Are you a newcomer to the game? I'm a returning player, as you can read there. I returned some months ago to finish my legacy that I didn't do the story quests and everything and update my gear and my stronghold. I'm a veteran, I guess. So yes, I analyzed the game. I did Knights of Fallen Empire on master difficulty with quite shitty gear, and yes, now I am just finishing the bounty hunter story that I never did it back then. I did player versus player combat the whole time. I analyze games on the channel, so I wanted to analyze my favorite game of all time. I've been playing since 2022. Okay. So you discovered the game in its modern version. Quite interesting. What do you think of it? Are you well? You said that you think it's fire, so it has to be good. Um, well, starting in 2022, you must have a lot of content. Well, I don't know how much you played of it, but I bet you've seen a lot of content. Here. I'll show you something interesting, just so you see how well it's my favorite game. As I said, I showed this to other returning players that discovered my stream as well. As you can see, this is the original encyclopedia when it launched. It took me a lot of time to get it. Yeah, there is a lot to get through. Here you can see. You can find me, by the way, as Eraser in game, just like the my main is Eraser. This is just the crafter that I use for the story and everything. Here's the original encyclopedia, people. And as I was mentioning some minutes ago, this game was actually meant to be. This is the story. Well, I covered it in a whole series of videos over at YouTube if you are interested on that. And I did like the highest difficulty of as I've said, of Knights of the Fallen Empire. I still need to do Knights of the Eternal Throne Master difficulty because this is all new content for me. In that sense, we are on the same page. We are on the same page because I discovered that they added a lot of expansions. It's a completely different game to what I was used to back when I played it in 2012, 2013, 14, and 15. So it's 8 games in one. I was mentioning why I think it's the best game ever. But yeah, for example, right now it's the degree event. Offline, I'm doing degree event on my sword. My main sword is Eraser, in case you want to add it as friends through the friends system here. And well, they're my friends over at the I will have over at my main. The list is so full that I will have to. Yeah, mostly playing operations. Now I found them. You started doing operations. You started doing the raids. For those of you who don't know, people, like in World of Warcraft, it's the raids. It's 8-man raids. Yeah. I already got through them in 1 month and a half. I got to full 343 gear rating, full Rakata on my Sork. And now I'm working on those shitty new augments. Those shitty new endgame augments are driving me crazy. You can see that I'm also on this character trying to farm the materials for the endgame content. Marcus. It's absolutely brutal. They were way they went way too overkill with the requirements for the new augments for the golden 86. They went way too overkill. It's absolutely brutal, the materials requirements. The raids, well, the raids I did them all. Of course, I couldn't. This is the interesting part. I couldn't play raids back in the day, back in 2012. So I did them all now modernly this year because basically back in 2012 raids were much more exclusive, believe it or not. Nowadays, you fortunately can. This has fortunately changed, and you can find PAG teams on Fleet Chat, and you can perfectly join them without any kind of problem. But back then, their requirements, people, and this is why I didn't do ops and I only did player versus player combat. I had 3 warlords. All I did was player versus player combat. Um, so basically back then, uh, we have to report back. Report back to commander. Speak to the vengeful one. No, this one is like another quest that I had to do there. So back then they asked. I'm still in the purple logs. No, but which rating? If you remember, which number of rating? Which number of rating? Because mine are blue, but are blue 86, so it's the highest. I'm working on them. I only have 4. Oh, we have to go back, people. That's why we had. Oh, bro, I don't know. No worry, no worry, no worry, no worry, no worries. It must be. It must be like 70 something or 60 something, more or less. No, 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 no worries. Yeah, the key is the rating, the number as well. So yeah, pretty much all I did was player versus player combat back then. I still do. I still have to get to Baylor 100. I am at 97 with my main sorcerer, and the name of the sorcerer is like the face is the one of the channel. it's Eraser. So yeah, pretty much. That's I'm working on those hawks. They went crazy with their requirements. You need to have 4 crafters at 700. You need to have 4 crafters at 700, and it's absolutely brutal. And it's taking me farming the materials. I'm even farming them now, and it's brutal. No, regarding the game, I was mentioning I did a whole analysis of the game. I review games here on the channel. This one is my favorite one. In that sense, I didn't even need to play it to do a review of it because I loved it. But I even so wanted to play Master Mode Knights of the Fallen Empire because it was something that didn't exist back in the day when I played the game. But I review games here on the channel with my crazy panels and everything. I do variety streaming, and pretty much I wanted to have a recording of me playing my favorite game full time as well, especially with the Dreadmasters and everything. So it's 8 games in one, as I mentioned. This is Knights of the Old Republic 4, the Jedi Knight story. What I would suggest anyone who starts playing like today would be to first play the Jedi Knight story. Why? Because it's Knights of the Old Republic 4. And Knights of the Old Republic 3 is actually a book that I showed in one of the series called Revan, which will tell you what Revan does after the ending of the first game, which leads to this game, and there everything will make sense, because this game feels disconnected a bit from Knights of the Republic 2 and 1. I don't know if maybe anyone here played Knights of the Republic 1 and 2 or watching it as a YouTube Bob as well. Basically, this game feels a bit disconnected from its predecessors, and I was explaining that this game started as Knights of the Republic 3 as an offline game. But then, the book Revan turned into Knights of the Old Republic 3, and this one, the Jedi Knight story, is Knights of the Old Republic 4. That's why I would suggest anyone who discovers the game to play it in that order. In that order, to play the Jedi Knight story, and then whichever one of the rest that you'd like. In that sense, but it will enhance your experience. There we go. There, it will enhance your experience playing the Jedi Knight story first. In that sense, because it will be kind of like perfectly connected to the ending of the book Revan. In that sense, that's the correct order. The book was released much later. It was kind of like a patch to fix that gap that this game left, that it doesn't explain in that sense. But yeah, pretty much. So operations are amazing. Without a doubt. They are the equivalent of the dungeons in World of Warcraft. But as I was mentioning, the component of the signature of classic BioWare storytelling style is what enriches this game a lot, because as I said, I think it's the best game of all time because it's the most versatile game of all time. It works like a single player perfectly, but it also works like an MMORPG game perfectly as well. As I said, the classic Dungeons and Dragons 4.0 combat system. I covered all of these topics, people on stream, but since we are getting to the end of the Bounty Hunter storyline, I can cover it for anyone watching this as a YouTube VOD, as a leisure gameplay series. Basically, when they developed this game, they created a new whole development studio, which was BioWare Austin. This is a game developed in Texas, rather than the original studio of BioWare that I think it was Canadian, could it be? Something like that. So, yes, this game was developed. They had to dedicate a whole studio to develop it, and that's where you see the incredible attention to detail that it has. Uh, as for the rest, as I've said, it assumes it uses Dungeons and Dragons 4.0 as a combat system as well, so it has a solid base in the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics. The highest point of abstract complexity, in fact, I would say. Here you can see the amazing dialogue system that I have been constantly showcasing people. This is inherited from Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 and Baldur's Gate, the classic storytelling style of BioWare that you really can't find in any other MMORPG. It's a unique feature. The quality of the voice acting, I was mentioning it with the Dread Masters before.
I'm not telling you anything.
Cooperate, and I'll get you out of this alive.
I'm not stupid. I'm dead. Sale, why'd you have to play the hero?
You can see the quality of the voice acting is amazing, people.
We stayed to help evacuate if things got too bad. Too bad. Understatement of the year.
Looks like that didn't go to plan.
The central power plant failed, and the hangar doors are closed. Even our ship can't put out enough juice to open them.
Also another thing.
We're trapped. Zale stormed off after some argument with the warden. Said he had unfinished business. He took M30B to get the central power plant back online. Said not to wait for him. That's all I know.
I can work with that. Find yourself a better hiding spot.
I can go?
You ain't going nowhere, girlie. And your boy's gonna hear all about how you died before I kill him.
I said she can leave.
And I said she ain't walking out of here.
Last chance. Let her go.
You can see that characters act according to their personality. Oh, that's a weird reaction.
But when I find you, I'm gonna see how much you can scream before your lungs go.
You can see that characters act perfectly according to their own personalities. You'll see what I mean. For example, the thugs, the mercenaries, the voice acting is so good that they sound brutish, if you know what I mean, people. They sound like low-life criminals. They sound like quite, I don't know, uneducated, brutish in that sense. The same goes for example, you could just see the Dread Masters some minutes ago that I wanted to have a recording of them. I love them. You could see that, for example, in a lot of the cases, the voice actors, I don't know if you noticed this, they mixed in, for example, a lot of British voice actors, to give kind of like a refined accent to some of the characters. for example, as a general example of what they do. But as for the rest, the characters also act according to their personalities. The intonation when they do the voice acting is according to their personality. It works according to their personalities and the emotions that the NPCs are trying to express. And I know that we take all of these things for granted nowadays in game reviewing, and that's a terrible mistake. That's a terrible mistake. Why, you may ask? Well, because at the end of the day, the psychological sense of cohesion that a game can provide to the player is related to all of these details. Just like I mentioned on Tuesday when we were analyzing Drakensang Online, that the psychological sense of progression instead of cohesion, the psychological sense of progression was completely related to the efficiency in the design of the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics, and that repetition by itself is metaphysically objective, metaphysically objectively speaking, uh, positive by itself, per se, by itself, the repetition of gameplay mechanics, like in this game or Drakensang Online, that are so grindy. Repetition by itself is always a positive trait in games. The key is that the abstract complexity of the gameplay mechanics has to complement it. They have to work in tandem, coordinately at the same time. And that is the case with this game or Drakensang Online and many, many, many others in that sense. But for example, I'm mentioning this because I see a lot of reviews over at Metacritic or Steam or whatever, in which someone complains that a game is repetitive. That a game is repetitive. And that is not the real internal criticism. You ever use the other minimap? The new one, you mean? The big one, Marcus? The big one, the one that they... No, I defaulted my interface when I return. Yeah, no. This one I sometimes use. No, I defaulted my interface when I returned 2 months ago. If you want to... by the way, Marcus, sorry, before I forget, in case you want to see some more extreme gameplay, because like this I'm playing low level character and this, in case you would like to see extreme gameplay, I am currently releasing over at YouTube Master Mode Knights of the Fallen Empire, that I bet that will be quite interesting. There I use my main, I use Eraser precisely, and I solo master mode of Knights of the Fallen Empire, which has one hit kills even. So if you want to see more extreme gameplay, because I've had people join during this series, and I know they think, for example, but that's low level gameplay, no problem. Oh, cool. No, I'm just saying it because, as I've said, some people, other people who have discovered the stream like that, uh, maybe they are end game players. You mentioned that you do raids, so you got to the end game. There you can see more extreme gameplay. In fact, I think it's the only showcase over at YouTube that solos Master Mode at that rating. But in case you want more extreme gameplay, you can check out the banner, and there you will have extreme gameplay. I am like wrapping up that until I gear up enough for Eternal Throne Master Mode, which I will showcase in some months after I play some other games. In that sense, just in case, because I know that I've been told by other endgame players. It's on YouTube right now. It's up to Battle Droid Athirna. I think up to chapter 11, could it be? It was released right now. Right now you have one of the best boss fights, the last one that released 2 days ago. The last video published, part 19. Yeah. Part 19 is Battle Droid Athirna, for example. There you will have something. It took me hours. You can watch the previous part, part 18. It took me like 2 hours to get to the level of speed required for that. It's part 11, yes, chapter 11, and then chapter 12 is the last one. Then I have the rest are released every week. They are released every week. I have up to chapter 9. Then the rest of the chapters will showcase. It took me a lot of time to do it. You can see that I will wipe a lot of times, but there you'll have a spectacle, because I know the one hit kills that I suffered. I know the one hit kills that I had to go through to go over it. It still doesn't have the Arcan boss fight, which was the final boss was 4 hours until I could do it, and you have to do a timed reflect for a one hit kill. But after that, yeah, pretty much it's right now at chapter 11 out of 16. It's getting to the end. Yeah, I never did those, so maybe I'll look to see what it's about. It's Knights of the Fallen Empire. It's this one here. I can show you. It's after the main story quests. Like, you have the